I had experienced 7 reincarnations, each time with the sole purpose of preventing my partner's untimely demise. Yet none of these attempts bore fruit. Every single life ended in failure at the final moment, forcing me to witness her death time and again. Just as I was about to give up hope, a message appeared on a screen. It read, "Lily truly masters the game." Whenever Lily ran out of funds, she would undertake a mission to win over Ethan. Upon succeeding, she would feign her own death and vanish. I watched the message in bewilderment. Was Lily treating me like a character to be exploited for points? Suppressing my frustration, I continued reading the subsequent comments. Another one stated, "The most pitiable NPC ever. He remains unaware that Lily is set to marry someone else in a parallel world, yet he continues to live with the guilt of believing he was responsible for her death." Although Lily's mission was exceptionally smooth this time, the reward was merely a tenth of what it should be. She'll likely exhaust it quickly and embark on another mission soon. Suddenly, the world around me dimmed and silence enveloped the universe. When my vision cleared, I saw an 18-year-old Lily looking down at me. She asked, "Handsome, can I add you on WeChat?" Handsome. I didn't reply immediately, causing Lily's ears to flush pink. She shyly repeated, "Can I add you on WeChat? I mean no harm, I just want to be friends." Her confusion mirrored mine until she nervously looked away, snapping me back to reality. I had truly been reincarnated once more, returning to the day I first met Lily. At that moment, semi-transparent words scrolled through the void and comments flashed by. "Are you serious? This same plot again? Isn't it getting old? Ethan totally falls for this type. Who says this trope is outdated? It's still perfect. 7 times with the same opening line. I'm sick of it. Can't Lily try a new strategy?" What are you talking about? Lily is after the money. The faster she completes the task, the better. Confusion welled up inside me as I clenched my fist, staring at the repeating words, mission and strategy. My thoughts were abruptly pulled back to my past lives. This was my 7th reincarnation. Each time I was reborn, I retained memories and missions from previous lives. My first love had died trying to save me. I was reborn to avoid that tragic cycle, aiming to marry her and live a long life together, but each attempt ended in failure. The first time, she pushed me onto the shore as I drowned, only to be swept away by the waves. The second time, she shielded me from a knife, bleeding to death in my arms. The third, she cared for me in a collapsed building, using her last resources to save me only to perish from dehydration. The subsequent reincarnations followed different accidents, but the same heartbreaking outcome. This cycle left me feeling helpless, tormented, and enraged at fate for its relentless cruelty. Now, the scrolling comments revealed a startling truth. The love I believed was unwavering. Our endless struggles with life and death, countless separations, all were merely elements of a strategy game. Lily was the player following the plot, and I was just an NPC being exploited for points. This realization was absurd, yet undeniable. After loving Lily 7 times, witnessing her sacrifices, and feeling her love surpass her own, it was impossible to accept that she was merely playing a game. I closed my eyes, attempting to dismiss the shocking information, but the messages continued to refresh incessantly. One comment read, "Why isn't Ethan responding this time? Lily's getting impatient. It seems the strategy needs updating. Even an NPC as dense as Ethan can have a bug. What will Lily do now that Ethan won't give her his contact information? Do we really need to guess? In this situation, Lily will definitely act pitiful." Another user commented, "She'll probably say, 'I'm sorry, I'm not the type to casually add someone on WeChat. This is the first time I've mustered the courage to ask. If I'm bothering you, I'm truly sorry.'" The screen filled with laughter emojis. New discussions emerged shortly after. Looks like everyone figured out the first NPC Lily was trying to strategize. That one wasn't easy to deceive. Lily had to employ all her tricks. So when she met Ethan, such an easy NPC, she decided to keep exploiting him repeatedly, like a boss battle. Wait, this was the 7th time. Cold sweat broke out on my back, and doubt began to settle in. How did they know these details? Lily's eyes reddened as she nervously looked at me. She stepped forward, reaching for my sleeve, but I coldly pushed her away. "Miss, we're not acquainted. Please keep your distance." Lily froze momentarily, then smiled bitterly. "I'm sorry. You might have misunderstood me. I'm not that kind of girl. I just wanted to be friends. I've always been shy and never talked to boys. You're the first boy I've paid so much attention to, and this is the first time I've gathered the courage to ask for WeChat. If I'm bothering you, I'm really sorry." She turned and left, a single tear glistening at her eye. Despite her appearance tugging at my emotions, I couldn't feel the same youthful affection anymore. She was acting pitiful, just as the comments had predicted. Every word she spoke matched the comments exactly. The barrage not only knew the details of our interactions, but also accurately predicted her every reaction. At this point, I had no choice but to believe it. Perhaps everything the comments said was true. Back in the dormitory, exhausted, I began to recall the 7 encounters with Lily. The past replayed vividly in my mind. I realized that everything had been set in motion long ago. Meeting, confessing, kissing, proposing, and the accidents. These were the 5 key moments I had repeated with Lily 6 times. The only difference each time was the duration, each shorter than the last, from 3 years to just 6 months. For a fleeting moment, I thought our relationship resembled a game, with Lily as the player, accelerating the plot with each repetition. But then, I attributed it to our deep understanding, believing that our love naturally shortened the time needed to fall in love again. Even if each rebirth cost me my lifespan and each time together was briefer, as long as there was a sliver of hope that she could survive, I would sacrifice anything for it. Until Lily died for the 6th time while saving me, and I suddenly saw the barrage of comments. That was when the truth finally emerged. In that moment of acute heartache, I laughed loudly and harshly, a piercing sound even as my throat burned and I gagged. The next second, the barrage appeared again. One comment read, "What's going on? Why is Ethan laughing like a madman? This plot's different. Ethan's setting is that of a simp. He can't refuse Lily. Ethan should have already acted like this. The first strategy in Parallel Worlds doesn't affect NPCs, but Lily is a real piece of work. Every time she strategizes Ethan, the rewards are actually paid for with Ethan's luck. So now Ethan is in poor health. His school is deteriorating, moving from a top tier to a second-tier university. His family is falling apart, and his life expectancy has been reduced by 30 years. Lily's stamping her feet in anger now. LOL. You guys think if Ethan sees Lily this mad, what will happen? For some reason, after reading that comment, images of Lily appeared before my eyes. Right now, she was in an empty room, talking to herself. Disgusting. Does he really think I don't know what he is? A little lapdog, like he's never seen a woman before. I just wiggle my finger and he comes to lick me. What is he pretending for? Does he even know what he is? If it weren't for the task, would I even look at him? System. When this strategy task ends, I want triple rewards. I know it'll drain his luck and shorten his life, but there are countless trash NPCs like him. What's one more death? It's an honor for him to be my strategy target. A chill ran down my spine as I sat up abruptly, my body trembling uncontrollably. So this was Lily's true nature. All that tenderness was just a carefully crafted illusion. The real her was cheap, shameless, and malicious. In the image, Lily was still cursing me. I listened to her vile words, gritting my teeth as my heart sank deeper. The next moment, her face changed drastically. She asked, "System, why has Ethan's affection for me dropped by 10 points?" After that, her image vanished, replaced by the barrage comments refreshing rapidly. One comment stated, "Whoa, what's going on?" If I'm not mistaken, Ethan's affection for Lily was 60%. Right, dropping by 10 points all at once. Lily was so confident in this strategy. Before starting, she set the task to 1 month. The staff tried to talk her out of it, but she said Ethan was such a clueless simp that he'd be taken down in a week. 1 month was too much. Now, on the first day, 10 points down. LOL. But wait, the rules of time and space changed recently. If the strategy fails, the player has to exchange lives with the NPC. The player becomes an NPC, and the NPC enters the real world, inheriting all of the player's wealth. Exchange lives? Now that's interesting. Lily's using strategy rewards to buy a villa and luxury cars, and the NPC inherits all of the player's wealth. Exchange lives. Now that's interesting. Lily's using strategy rewards to buy a villa and luxury cars, but Ethan is a poor student. I wonder if after the exchange, Lily will be able to live such a lavish life. These comments quickly disappeared, not garnering much attention. I silently repeated that line in my mind. Reflecting on the idea of exchanging lives, I fell into deep thought. I wasn't happy in this world. My mother was a mistress, and I grew up at my grandparents' home in the countryside. As an illegitimate child, no matter how much I helped with chores or excelled in school, I could never compare to my brother, who only needed to visit and call my grandparents. For the first 18 years, I lived cautiously, surviving in the cracks, until I met Lily. She understood everything I cared about, becoming my confidant and completely healing the childhood wounds I'd carried. I once thought she was my salvation, but reality delivered a fatal blow. The barrage was right. Lily was a heartless woman, playing with me like a dog. So why should I pity her with all those false affections? The villa, the luxury cars, financial freedom, personal freedom. All these things I could barely dream of seemed within easy reach. Just 1 month. Just the sacrifice of one trashy woman. What a deal. In that moment, I suddenly felt that these barrage comments were no longer a burden to me. They were a blessing from above. Over the next few days, Lily frequently appeared before me, but as usual, I remained indifferent, leaving her with no way to influence me. The drop in affection points and my unusual behavior made her extremely anxious. I often saw comments about her daily life in the barrage. In the footage, she spoke in a distressed tone. "System, what's going on here? Isn't Ethan's program fixed? Why is he so hard to strategize this time? Is there a bug?" The system replied in confusion. "My data shows no bugs, host. Could it be that your performance is too half-hearted? Maybe it's failing to make the target feel anything. I suggest changing strategies. Don't forget, this task is only a month long, but you've already wasted a week." Another round of insults followed. After venting, Lily bit her lip and said, "Fine, tomorrow I'll start Plan B. I don't believe I can deal with this poor guy." Lily acted swiftly. Her Plan B kicked in the next day. A new manager was hired at the coffee shop where I worked. His first act of authority was to fire me. "Ethan, we've had a complaint about your service attitude. You're fired." The moment he finished speaking, the barrage began to discuss. The comments read, "LOL, she's just recycling the same tactics. Lily really doesn't have any new tricks. What are those tactics?" A newbie asking, "First, the green tea version, pretend to be weak. Fake a fall to trigger the target's protective instincts. Second, the sweet girl version. Pretend to enjoy playing games and get the target to fall in love with her soul. Third, the dominant version. Rescue the hero. Lily's secret weapon. Looks like she's pulling out all the stops already. Must be in a hurry. This excuse is ridiculous. Ethan is always polite. How could he have bad service? Obviously just looking for trouble." I was speechless. These 3 tricks were certainly Lily's usual approach. Before every relationship, I had to go through each one of these tactics. But back then, I was too caught up in it to see clearly. Now it was different. I said to the manager, "Excuse me," and pointed to the corner. The coffee shop has 360-degree surveillance. It records my every action. Can you tell me which customer complained at what time? Where's the complaint record? The manager's eyes darted around, hesitating for a moment, but still maintaining a tough attitude. He replied, "That's none of your business. All you need to know is you're fired, Ethan. Don't be ungrateful. I didn't even blame you." Before he could finish, a familiar, light female voice interrupted. "Manager, the way you're treating an employee is making me uncomfortable." I furrowed my brow. The leading lady of this drama had finally made her entrance. Lily confronted the manager with her hands on her hips, arguing passionately. "I can't stand how he treats an employee," she declared. The manager mocked her, but in a huff, Lily took out her phone and dialed a number. It was her uncle, the chairman of the coffee shop's parent company. The scene ended with the manager reluctantly apologizing and begging Lily not to get him fired. It was the typical scene of a brainless, face-slapping drama. After dismissing the manager, Lily looked at me earnestly. "Handsome, with me here, no one will treat you like that." The barrage was already ahead of me. The comments flooded in. "How can she act like that, Ethan? Don't believe her, she's like a poisoned apple. Don't eat it." I couldn't help but smile slightly. Lily's eyes sparkled. "Handsome, you smiled. You look so good when you smile." Our eyes met. Her gaze was shallow, but the fake affection in her eyes couldn't be hidden. I thought to myself, she must be so proud, believing she had me completely under control. She was so pleased with herself. On one hand, I felt disgusted, but on the other, my thoughts began to shift. Originally, I had planned to completely ignore her and survive through the month. Then I'd happily exchange lives with Lily. But compared to the constant disappointment, having hope only for it to be shattered seemed even more painful. I raised a smile, just as I had before, and thanked her politely. "Thank you. You look better when you smile." Lily's smile deepened. I fought the discomfort, and before she could react, I added her on WeChat. "If it wasn't for your help, I'd be in trouble today. Let me treat you to a meal sometime." While saying this, I glanced at the barrage. The comments read, "Wait, did Ethan really fall for this cheap performance? I feel so sorry for Ethan. He's so easily deceived. This must be the fate of a simp." But someone else commented, "Wait, look at this. Ethan accepted Lily, but his affection points didn't increase. They actually dropped by 7 points yesterday. It was 50 now. What's going on?" Lily seemed just as eager to understand what was happening. After we parted ways, she immediately summoned the system to check my affection points toward her. Seeing they had dropped by 7 points, she was utterly devastated. She screamed, "System, are you kidding me? Ethan looks at me like he wants to propose. And now you're telling me that not only is he not moved, but his affection points for me have decreased. What's going on here? This data has to be wrong. You need to double check. Ethan can't possibly not like me." The system was silent for a few seconds before responding again. "Host, the data has been reviewed. Ethan's affection points toward you are still at 43%. Lily felt even worse. She muttered anxiously to herself. After requesting a review of the data for the 10th time, the system finally concluded. "System, this is definitely a bug. I'm the person who knows Ethan the best in this world. I can tell you, if I just snap my fingers, he'll crawl to me like a dog. There's no way this data is correct." Lily was so confident, so certain, that the system began to doubt itself. Could it really be a bug? But that's impossible. Such a simple piece of data shouldn't have a bug, right? I watched coldly as this drama unfolded, deciding to give Lily a few more false hopes. I took action. A few seconds later, Lily pointed to a WeChat message and sneered. "It's not a bug, is it? Look at this. Ethan sent me a message. He said, 'Lily, thank you so much today. I used to be narrow-minded, thinking that beautiful girls were proud and looked down on others, that they were after something by getting close to me. I never expected you to be so kind.' The rest of the message was filled with cheesy, flirtatious words. Lily suddenly laughed out loud. Her confidence grew as she spoke. "System, don't worry, it's a done deal. Just wait for me to take the grand prize." But the barrage was much clearer than Lily. The comments started flooding in. "I don't know. Something feels off. Isn't Ethan always cautious? He never makes a move unless he's sure. This doesn't seem like his style. Ethan's WeChat message came in too conveniently, like a reassurance, completely calming Lily's doubts. It's kind of suspicious. How could affection points like this possibly have a bug? This plot feels weird. Maybe the main storyline is broken. Some even asked if Ethan unlocked the god's perspective. I couldn't help but laugh and cry. It seemed like I was in the god's perspective, but it wasn't exactly what they meant. What I was seeing were the barrage comments filled with huge amounts of information. Not anything else. For the next several days, I began frequently inviting Lily out to eat, take walks, and watch movies. We went to the beach at dawn to watch the sunrise, and late at night to the mountains to stargaze. Just like in the previous 6 lives, I always looked at Lily with affectionate eyes, and when she glanced at me, I greeted her with the gentlest smile. We watched a horror movie, and when the red-dressed female ghost appeared for the 7th time, she moved into my arms. I held her tightly, gently patting her back. When the atmosphere was most intimate, she slowly leaned toward me, and just as I turned to kiss her, she shyly lowered her head. The barrage commented, "This is Lily's usual trick. She was a professional at strategy, having seduced many men. She knew the most effective method to win over men was to play hard to get rather than kissing directly. Such restrained, intimate contact was far more touching." Lily remained confident. She believed her strategy was unstoppable, convinced that I had already fallen deeply for her. Then, after every date, after every system update on my affection points, she was once again devastated, doubting, devastated, doubting. She oscillated between these two extremes, questioning everything, and then painfully asking the sky, asking the system, "Why is this happening? He's already hugging me, kissing me. How could he like me less? Where's the bug?" The barrage was just as confused. The comments came flooding in. "This plot makes no sense. Ethan was perfectly normal on the dates. But why do his affection points drop after every one? LOL. First day 60%. Now it's the 17th day. And Ethan's affection points are only 19%. I've watched so many strategy live streams, but this kind of straight downward data is a first. Steady failure. How is this considered steady happiness? Could it be that Ethan has already awakened? Is he walking the dog?" After this comment appeared, there was a moment of silence. Then, the barrage exploded. Wait, this theory makes a lot of sense. If that's true, the plot is getting more and more interesting. By the way, after the strategy fails, the system will randomly impose a punishment. I wonder what Lily will get. Someone else commented, "Are you all already assuming Lily will fail?" On the 21st day, Lily could no longer wait. Since she couldn't use tricks to make me confess, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She didn't have much time left. The first 20 days had been wasted in a tug-of-war with me. She had to complete the remaining 4 steps in the last 10 days and raise my affection points to 100%. In front of many witnesses, Lily appeared in a wedding dress, holding a bouquet of harmonious roses. Trembling as she confessed to me, her performance was vivid and she looked quite nervous. Amid the cheers, I pinched my brow with my onion-scented right hand, and with the sting of the onion, I tearfully accepted her confession. Lily stood on the tiptoe, closing her eyes, hoping I would kiss her, but I completely ignored her. The next moment, I saw the barrage flood with big numbers. 9%. It was like a game I was playing. All I had to do was enter a query for affection points, and the number would appear immediately, but I didn't need to type anything. The barrage commented, 9%. Ethan looked so moved, but the affection points dropped by 10. Fun fact, Ethan is really gentle. He has 25% affection points, even for stray dogs. To see only 9% means Lily is less important to him than a dog. Has Ethan really awakened? I can't wait to see Lily break down. Ha 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 ha. Before Lily could break down, it was her system that cracked first. The emotionless electronic voice went haywire, angrily rebuking. "No, Lily, what's going on with you? Didn't you have everything in the bag? Why are Ethan's affection points for you never going up? They're dropping every day. I've told you before, leave some room to breathe. But you've been sucking Ethan dry like a blood bag. And now look, the plot's falling apart. Ethan doesn't like you. Lily looked like she was about to lose her mind. In the video, she repeatedly checked our chat history, trying to find any clue. Unfortunately, she found nothing. With tears in her eyes, she choked up. I don't know what's happening. Everything's the same as before. Ethan is even warmer toward me now. It's your system that has a bug. What does this have to do with me? You blame me. I should be blaming you. Now there were only 10 days left for the mission. If I failed because of her system bug, what was she supposed to do? The argument between them was summarized by the barrage as a dog biting a dog situation. The barrage commented, LOL, Lily is finally panicking. She didn't feel guilty at all when she was ruthlessly milking Ethan before. I'm more and more excited to see how this ends. Let's see just how far this plot can break down. After this barrage, Lily, who had been arguing fiercely with the system, suddenly paused. She cautiously asked, System bro, don't you have any system items? Like something that can boost affection points? The system was silent for a moment before responding, Don't you have any system items like something that can boost affection points? Yes, the system replied. There are items like that, but they need to be exchanged. However, Ethan's affection points toward you are too low right now, so you'll need to use something else to exchange for them. Money, lifespan, bodily functions, family situation. Lily immediately said, exchange, but don't use mine. The system hesitated, then asked, What will you use? Lily sneered, Of course I'll use Ethan's stuff. If it weren't for the purpose of strategy, would I even need to exchange for items? He's the one who should pay the price. The system responded, But Ethan has no money, and his lifespan only has 5 years left. It doesn't meet the exchange requirements. Lily scoffed, rolling her eyes. Didn't you just say bodily functions and family situations can be exchanged? System, we're in the same boat. Without these items, our mission will fail, she insisted. The system fell silent for a moment before replying, Exchange item, the mutual affection pill. The target, Ethan, has undergone a change in family situation. From divorced parents to deceased parents. The cruelty value of his grandparents has increased by 50%. His living environment has changed from a kitchen to a pigsty. And his lifestyle has changed from simple meals to hunger. This change will take effect after the strategy ends. Once the data was refreshed, a small golden vial fell into Lily's hands. She smiled, manic and triumphant, saying, This time I will complete the mission. This reaction sparked widespread dissatisfaction in the barrage. The barrage scolded, Can Lily be a decent person for once? LOL. Ethan has awakened. Lily's strategy is doomed to fail. After the mission ends and their lives are swapped, everything she's done to Ethan, she'll have to pay for herself. This is what happens when you make your bed. Lily is going to eat the consequences. What is this mutual affection like the sea? Does anyone know? Someone replied, I know. This item is colorless and tasteless. After taking it, it instantly brings the affection points to 100%. Ethan, please be careful. Don't drink it. Too bad. Ethan's affection for Lily is already down to 5%. If it drops to 0 now, the mission will fail automatically. No need to wait for day 30. Not possible. For any normal person, affection points with their own kind will always start at 5%, with no space for further decline, unless Ethan and Lily completely fall out. If the strategy is exposed, the mission will automatically fail. Wonder if Ethan's God's perspective can see this. Automatic failure. I paused for a moment. So there's this option. As long as Lily's identity as a strategist is exposed, the mission will automatically fail. An odd excitement surged in me, and I looked up at the barrage, flashing a genuine smile. The barrage was stunned. Look, I feel like Ethan is looking at me through the screen. I feel it too. This is strange. Ethan can't possibly see the barrage, can he? How could that be? The barrage is in our time-space, and Ethan is in the small world. unless his God's perspective lets him travel across time and space. Apart from the first person who suspected it, no one believed I could see the barrage. But I truly wanted to thank the barrage. Without them, I would still be Lily's controlled blood bag, reborn with hope again and again, only to die in despair. I said, I haven't unlocked God's perspective. What saved me was all of you. I saw a flurry of question marks before I could explain further. The barrage suddenly disappeared. The transparent words that had accompanied me for days vanished in an instant, as if they had never existed. There was no trace left. The rest was the feud between Lily and me. I quietly waited for Lily to arrive. 7 lifetimes later, this farce directed by Lily herself finally reached its conclusion. She didn't notice anything unusual about me. Just like last time, she handed me a thermos and said, "Brother, this is chicken soup I made just for you. I know you've been feeling sleepy, but after you drink this, you'll feel more awake." I stayed up all night making it. It seemed like she had gained some sense. She knew to find a vessel for the item, but it also seemed like she had lost her mind. Didn't she say before that she was going to help me with my insomnia? Unfortunately, I was no longer interested in playing her little role-playing game. I smiled and took the chicken soup, gently shaking it. Then, in Lily's eager gaze, I threw it straight into the trash can beside me. Lily suddenly stood up, heartbroken, and picked up the thermos, her face full of frustration. "Ethan, what are you doing? Don't you know?" I asked. "What's in it?" She froze, insisting that I drink it. "It's my love for you. Don't you love me anymore? I stayed up all night for this. Please, just taste it." I laughed through my tears, cutting off her endless nonsense. "Lily, the mission's failing. Do you have anything to say?" She instinctively responded, "Mission." Lily's face turned pale, her voice trembling. "Ethan, how? How did you know?" I sneered. "How did I know you were the strategist? Otherwise, do you really think all the affection points dropping these past few days were just a system bug?" She stared at me, seemingly shocked by my words. In the next moment, she couldn't maintain the love she had been pretending to show. She screamed hysterically, "Since you know, there's nothing to say, Ethan. It's your honor to be my strategy target." Drinking the chicken soup, she lunged at me, but I kicked her hard, sending her crashing to the ground. She tried to get up, but in an instant, she lost all strength. The system's voice rang out, "Lily, stop struggling. Ethan exposed your identity. The strategy has automatically failed. You're out." This was the 5th year since Lily and I swapped lives. The scene from the day I left had become blurry in my memory. Lily's hysterical screams, the system's cold notifications, and the faint sound of laughter. I couldn't remember them clearly anymore. This world was so much better. Our life swap was complete. No one but me remembered Lily. No one even knew her. Everything about her belonged to me now. The fiancé mentioned in the barrage had never appeared. Sometimes I even wondered if those absurd memories were just a bizarre dream. The strategy never existed. Lily never existed. Until that day, I met 2 strange men on the island. They were chatting excitedly, their voices loud, and I could vaguely hear them. One said, "I told you, right. That NPC named Lily is the easiest to strategize. If you want the prize, just keep at her. She's not bad-looking, and she'll take care of you, but her health is awful. A whole mess of problems." The other chuckled. "Not just bad health. Her family's poor too. Trying to strategize her means dealing with all her family's issues. If you touch her even a little, she starts crying. It's impossible to enjoy. If the strategy wasn't so easy, I wouldn't bother with her." I froze. "Lily, oh Lily, good luck.